Okay, so we all want to be funded with big capital, right? In this day and age, what is the way we do that? It's prop firms. We want to all get funded big amounts with prop firms. We all dream of maxing out these prop firms. You know, most prop firms will allow you to go to 400K of capital. That's amazing. Then what's next? You start withdrawing those massive payouts. 5% on a 400K account is $20,000. You're doing that once a month. That is not a bad amount of money, right? So this is the target. This is the goal. This is what we want. Well, it's time to wake up from this dream, people, because I'm here to tell you that it is actually possible. It doesn't have to be a dream. With the right diversification, this can be achieved. So in this video today, I'm going to talk about how to diversify with prop firms in particular. We will talk about later taking those profits and putting them into a live account, your own personal account. So it will go over to a personal as well. But we're talking prop firms initially. So to even get to the point of diversifying, your number one objective is to get a funded account, right? You need to get that funded account first. And I know that is easier said than done. Now, the point of this video is not to give you the strategies to do this. I'm assuming you have a strategy to do this. You have a good strategy. Now, I understand that is easier said than done, right? It's not easy to get to that point. But if you have a strategy that has an edge. I'm not talking about strategies today. I'm just going to be talking about diversification. Look back, I've already given quite a lot of very good strategies that you could start to practice and use. Don't jump straight in. Of course, you've got to do all the back testing and make sure it works for you. But you know, you've got to get a strategy that works for you, and then it is possible. It's definitely possible to pass these prop firms. Then once you've got that first funded account, that's the number one goal, right? We need to get that first funded account. Then we can start to use our profits to diversify. So that's the key, is get that first funded account. And then at that point, we're going to start to diversify and let these profits make more profits so we can keep growing. Okay, a lot of people want to just get that funded account, get the money and spend it. I get it, right? We want to spend the money fast, but let's just concentrate initially on making our profits work for more profits. Okay, so let's look at our initial investment first. What can you invest for that first funded account? What are you looking at investing? Most people are going to be looking at like $1,000, maybe 500 or $1,000. Now, most 100K accounts, most 100K challenges, and I'm talking about the phase 2 challenges, the most basic, the most common challenges, they're about $500 to get a $100,000 funded account, or at least take the challenge, and then $1,000 will buy you into a 200K account. So my first piece of advice is don't spend all of this on 1 or 2 challenges. So I would say if your initial investment is that $1,000, then buy as many 10K challenges as you can. You could even go, some will give $5,000 accounts. I think there's some prop firms that go down to 5K. Buy as many of these challenges as you can with this initial amount. So don't just give yourself 1 or 2 chances. Give yourself as many chances as you can to get to that first funded account. This will reduce your risk and spread it into many baskets straight away. The second thing is, how are you going to trade these accounts? So once you start buying into these challenges, you've got to decide how you're going to trade these, right? What is your go-to way to get funded? Is it a set strategy that you know has an edge and you know can handle the strict rules that most prop firms have? Now, like I said, guys, I'm not going to be talking about the strategies in this video. I'm hoping that you have looked at my other videos or you already have some kind of strategy. If not, is it an EA that you know has a proven record of passing these challenges and getting funded? So there is multiple ways that you can do that. For example, we have a fantastic EA called Titan X that, alongside the prop farming blueprint, has got a huge amount of our community funded. I think we're upwards of 500 or 600 people we have already got funded by using the Titan X and the prop farming blueprint. So this is another way. So if you are not confident enough to trade with a personal strategy or your own strategy or a manual strategy, then this is a way that you could do it. So you could do it by starting with an EA. Now, one thing you've got to remember then is there is going to be the fee to actually purchase the EA. So you've got to bear that in mind. If you cannot afford to get into the EA, then you would have to go the manual route first, and then at a later stage, when you've got your profits coming in from the prop farm or the prop firm accounts, the funded accounts, then you can look at then diversifying to the EA. So you can decide which way you do it. Do you go EA first, or do you go manual first? Or maybe it's something in between. Maybe you are kind of trading one of your accounts on an EA, one of your accounts manually, just to see which one, you know, trying to get one of your funded accounts as quickly as possible. Like I said, that's the main goal, get your first funded account. So you've got to decide how you're going to trade these accounts. Okay, so now you've got your funded account. Let's go straight to the next step. You've got to the point where you've actually got your first funded account, right? I know we're jumping ahead there. I'm not going to basically tell you how to get your funded. I'm just telling you how to diversify once you have got funded, okay? So you've got your first funded account. Now what? Your number one goal is to get your refund for that account. At this point, reduce your risk, and instead of looking for that 5% or 10% like you would in the phases, just look for 1 or 2%, right? As soon as you hit that target, just stop trading and wait until you get your refund. This account will then be risk-free or house money. This account, this first funded account, will continue to be your low risk account that you will use to buy in to all the new challenges that you're going to take. So essentially, this is going to be your fund. It's going to create your fund for buying into more and more challenges, right? This little account is just going to keep on making you small profits, which is going to keep you going all the time. So that's the goal for that first funded account, right? The next thing we're going to start looking at is to stack those accounts, right? So we're still looking at, let's say we started with the $1,000. That's what we wanted to risk. That's what our investment was. We bought as many 10K accounts as we possibly could. Let's say it took 2, 3, or 4 10K challenges to finally get to that funded. We now have that funded. This funded is now making some money. It's making that 1 to 2%, and you can get that every 2 weeks because most prop firms actually allow you to take your withdrawals every 2 weeks. So, you know, don't push for that. If it takes a month to hit that 2% or the 1%, whatever it is, fine. But if you are looking at every 2 weeks, you know, get to that 1 or 2% and then take your withdrawal. So, and then you can start using the funds from that account, buying into the new ones, and you're taking challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge, and you are now stacking your accounts. Just keep hitting play, right? Just keep buying into the same size challenge with different prop firms. So that's quite important, guys. You know, make sure you're buying into the smaller account sizes with loads of different prop firms, 2, 3, maybe 4 different prop firms, because again, then you're just diversifying your risk across different prop firms. Because we all saw what happened with my Forex funds. I know there's a lot of settlement happening now, and that's a video that we might be doing something about soon, because my Forex funds looks like, I checked it recently, and the website has now got the My Forex Funds logo, so something happening there. But the point is, when that happened, if you had all your eggs in that basket, you would have been screwed, right? So keep all of your keep buying your challenges across multiple prop firms, okay, until you've got to multiple funded accounts. You can use copy trading to trade multiple accounts at the same time, but just check to see that this is allowed with the prop firms that you are using. The other thing you can do is to trade a few different strategies. You can trade some day trading strategies, which are, you know, just scalping in and out quickly to make some profits. And then maybe on some of the other accounts, you can do swing trading, maybe more long-term trades, or even if you have different strategies that trade different time slots in the day, that's another way you can do that. So don't overload yourself. Figure out what's the best way for you to, to trade all your accounts without, stressing yourself out. And if you can't trade them all, it's okay. Trade the ones you can. Even if you've got them funded, they're there, right? So let's say, for example, you're trading one account or 2 or 3 accounts. Let's say you've got to 5, 6, 7, 8 funded accounts, whatever it is. You're trading 2 or 3 of them. They hit their 1 or 2% targets. Then you basically just put those aside and wait for your payouts, right? While those are just sitting there waiting, trade the others. So you can kind of keep them rolling that way. So then you can use the power of an EA as well to handle multiple accounts. So at this point, you can bring in the EA. If you started with the EA, you can already then, put multiple accounts on different strategies with using the EA. And that's one thing that TitanX and the Prop Farming Blueprint is fantastic with. We have so many different set files, strategies that can be used. So you can have, 10 different accounts all trading a different set file at the same time to just really diversify that. But you choose how many you want to use. If at this point you haven't actually been using an EA, this is where you can step in and say, I'm going to take some of my profits and I'm going to put that into actually buying the license for these EAs. If you want to buy 5 licenses, 10 licenses, whatever it is, you can start doing that. Start small, go for the 5 licenses and then let Titan take over with the accounts that, you find it's just, I can't trade all of them. So at this point, let the EA come in and do some of the work for you. Now it's time to go bigger. Okay. So now let's say you've got to a point where you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 funded accounts all on the 10K. We now want to go bigger. So the more funded accounts you have, this means the more payouts you're going to be getting, right? So as you start to see more consistency and the payouts are more because you have multiple accounts, you can now start to buy into the next size account, right? So if you started on the 10K account, for example, you can now buy into the 20K, maybe even the 50K if it's been going really well. You can also merge your accounts. So the accounts you do have, so let's say you have 10 funded accounts, 10 10K accounts, right? You can start putting them together where you have multiple 20K accounts. So 10K are now 5 20K. And now you can start to buy 20 or 50K accounts to fill in those other 5. So let's say 10 accounts at a time is your max. Excuse me. Then that's what you would do, and you would just keep on doing this. So as you've got your 20K accounts, you fill them up to the whatever so let's say you are going to trade a max of 10 funded accounts, right? 10 is your max. You want to get to a point where you've gone 10K across the board. You then bring them together. You've now got 5 20K. Now you want to just fill in the other 5. Now you go to the 50. And you do that until you've got 10 100K accounts. You're then trading $1 million. And you can just continue growing. There's no reason you have to stop there, because on each account you can go to 400K. I think that's the target. Some will allow you a bit more, but imagine that you're trading with 3 or 4 different prop firms. Each of them you are maxed out to the 400K. You're looking at over 1.5 million. So you can really expand there. And I know it's going to take time, but you've just got to keep hitting play, like I said. Now you can look at starting prop firms with scaling accounts, right? So let's look at these different type of accounts. So we have been doing or looking at the 1 or 2 phase challenges up till now. Those are the challenges I've been kind of talking about. But we can now diversify further by buying into some scalable accounts. You only need to buy into 1 or 2 scalable accounts because these can grow quite big. And I'm going to just show you quickly now an example of the 5%ers. So here we go. This is the 5%ers, a hyper growth program. You can start 10K, 20K, or 40K. The 40K will cost you 840. So if you want to start small again, you go all the way down to that, which is only $260. Once you've got even 10K accounts, I think you'd probably easily be able to afford to get into the 20K or the 40K starting. Okay, so how does this work? I'll just quickly go over this. You can see here, you would start with the 40K. You would basically be given a 20K balance. That's your first level. You've got a 10% profit target. There's no time limit on this at all. The second you hit that 10%, you get 50% of that. So you make $1,000 and you get a $50 bonus. You then get upgraded to $40,000. Again, 10%. At that point, you're taking 75% of that $4,000. And then, so this essentially becomes like a salary, right? This bonus kind of becomes like a salary up until this point, and then it's not applicable. But you work your way all the way till this final goal of 4 million. But the level 7, you're getting to a $1.28 million account. Your target again is 10%. You hit that 10%, doesn't matter how long it takes. You are looking at 128,000, which your payout is 100%. At that point, you get 100% of that. Now that you have to hit that target. There's no bonus at that point because 128,000, that's a lot of money. And then you get upgraded to the $4 million, the final level. And now there's no target. So you can essentially take whatever target you want, right? So let's say your target is 50K a month. 50K on a 4 million is quite achievable. You can start just easily getting, your 50 to 100K withdrawal every month. So an amazing tool that you can use in this process of diversification. It gives a whole new potential, right? So you have all of your other funded accounts doing their thing. You now can bring in an account that will just constantly grow as you hitting. And at this point, you're a seasoned veteran because you've been doing this for so long. You keep hitting play. The more you're doing this, the more whatever strategy you're doing, the better it's getting, surely, because you're trading live all the time on multiple accounts. And make sure you're not overdoing it. Make sure you're not taking on more than you can actually trade. If you're finding it that 6, 7, 8 accounts is too much, just trade 4 or 5 at a time. Try get those 10 funded accounts, but it doesn't mean you have to trade them. They can just be there as standby. So if you lose a funded account, let's say for example, you just bring in the next one. So that's the goal there. So now let's look at this point at a personal account, right? So you want to get those consistent payouts. Obviously that's been happening. You've been getting those consistent payouts. So when you get to the point that your payouts are consistent, which we know they are because, we've been running this for, however long it's taken at this point, you can start to feed some of these profits into a personal account. So you've got to set a target for that account and don't trade on it until this target is hit. So let's say every month you're going to just feed in some of the profits you're making from all your funded accounts. Let's say it's 5K a month you're putting into this personal account, right? So let's say you keep funding this account until it hits 25K. That's your target, 25K. And then you start trading on this. And then once you start trading on this account, only ever withdraw 50% of the profit you've made so that this account can keep growing. And then at the same time, you're still going to be feeding more and more profits from all the funded accounts into this live account as well. So make sure you're taking whatever you need for, to make a living. And then if there's any spare, just feed it into your live account so this can continue growing. And, you can quite quickly grow a personal account in the $100,000 mark, because if you're constantly pushing in money from the other accounts, and if you are slowly growing the scalable account, you've got money just like rolling from all different places, which is the whole point of diversifying. You've got all these different accounts doing different things. You've got to figure out how to trade them. You've got to be very disciplined. You've got to have a plan in place when you are doing this, because it is going to be intense. So figure out what's the best plan for you. If you don't have enough time, and EA is the way to go. Trade majority on EA and let the other ones, 2 or 3 of them, be manual. That is my suggestion. But yeah, whichever way you want to do it, you can go EA first. You can go with let Titanex do. That's actually what I did. I tried for a long time. When I first started looking at prop firms, I think it was about couple of years ago, maybe. Took a few, I got very close a few times, but ended up just like saying, I need to find something else. And that's when I actually stumbled for the first time onto Titan X. At that time, it was not even anywhere near the EA that it is now. But I ended up getting all of my funded accounts through Titan. Titan was the start for me. Titan was what got me my funded accounts, and I am now trading some of my funded accounts manually. So I kind of went that route. I went EA first. I let Titan actually get my funded accounts, because I actually got to a point with Titan X that it became its own. It started funding itself, right? So the money I'd initially put in, I made that back, and I got to a point where I'd got like, I think it was like 3 funded accounts, and they were all rolling, looking for that 2.5%. That's my profit target using Titan, 2.5%. All of them are 100K accounts, and my biggest month by doing that was, I think, 10K. And even the bad months, I'm making about 2.5 to 4K. So even in the bad months, and all I'm doing is I'm just putting that back in. I'm just, that goes back in and just keeps funding, giving the funding for Titan to continue taking. And then as it's passing funded accounts, as it's getting funded accounts, I'm deciding what to do with them. I'll say, okay, this one I'm going to be trading manually. I'm trading 2 manually at the moment. Titan is trading 3. And I'm waiting for next year. I'm not trading December. I'm waiting for next year to just continue this process. So, it's been going very, very well for me. I'm still in the middle of this diversification plan, and I'm actually doing exactly what I'm talking about. My next goal is to get to the 10 100K accounts. That's my target, 10 funded accounts. And at that point, I will then look also to go to the scalable account with like someone like the 5%ers. And then I've already started feeding in small amounts into my own live account, which I will not trade until I hit 50K. So my target on my live account is 50K, and I will not trade it until then. Who knows, might take another year, might take another 2 years. It might be a fantastic first quarter, and I might have it before the end of June, July. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. I don't really have a time frame. I just have a number, 50K, and then I'll start trading my live account. So, I'm doing this. I'm not just telling you guys. It's something that I'm actually doing myself. So you can choose how you start. I've gone over this. I've gone over me actually doing it myself. But if you're not confident in using a strategy, obviously an EA like Titan X, I've already gone over this. You would basically do it that way. Do it the way I did if you don't have a strategy. And while you're figuring out your strategy, use something like Titan X, which is a phenomenal EA with a very, very amazing proven track record. And all you got to do is just go down to the link in the bio, in the description below, to just check out our website where you can actually get more information on this. If it is something that you would like to do, if this is something you would like to tie into your diversification plan, because why would you not diversify? Why would you just, you get your funded account, that's great, and then that's it? Why would that be the end? You get your 100K account, and every month you take 2% this month, 5%, then you have a good month, 10%. That's amazing. Wow, 10K. But if you are feeding those profits in to different ways to make more money, it's just continue letting your money grow, because it's amazing. Once you actually see that wheel turn, like I said before, once it becomes a system that is literally paying for itself. Like, I am no longer putting any money into anything I do. The diversification I've done so far is paying for everything, it's paying for itself. So it's an amazing thing to see. When that finally happened for me, it was just like oh wow. Just a weight off, and it actually made trading a lot more stress-free. I could just concentrate on what I was doing, and just let the system do its thing. So that's it from me, guys. There's so many different ways you can diversify. I hope I've covered most of them. I'm sure there's a lot more that you can do. I'm only talking about trading now. You can look at other things like signals, but you know, signals for me are a little bit dodgy. So, you know, I think I've covered most of it, and I hope you found it insightful and valuable. Give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, share it with fellow traders, and please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you can, you know, get some more content like this. We're always looking at, you know, making trading fun, trying to give you guys the education that actually makes a difference, you know, because at the end of the day, we all want to make it in trading. And that's our goal, is to give you information that can help you on that journey. So with that being said, guys, you know, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, let's get diversifying, guys. You know, it makes such a difference if you're spreading out the eggs in multiple baskets. Trust me, it's something you want to look into. So with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.